OK, je vais appeler la madame, là. Elle s'appelle euh, directrice générale. En anglais, c'est peut-être la même chose que superintendent. Ça veut dire pas nécessairement la directrice de l'école. Ça serait comme principal. J'ai parlé déjà au téléphone à Christian Fur. Lui, il est contrôleur financier, financial officer. Mais je vais essayer, elle, son cellulaire. C'est un numéro 867. Puis je fais de la recherche comme là, je vois que cette région-là du Canada, Yellowknife, les prix de loyer vont beaucoup augmenter. C'est marqué sur l'annonce que pour un candidat en besoin, ils peuvent aider relocation costs, mais quand j'ai écouté le rapport, the report on housing, it does say that some housing is already owned by health authorities or for teachers or what's the other category? I can't remember. But people that might even be seasonal. So that means they might own property to set me up in. But otherwise, it might be very hard to afford that even with that salary. And then you get all the taxes you get cut out. So yeah, definitely it'd be a trauma to move me and the little guy, and we'd be giving up a place that probably isn't gonna burn from the outside, maybe from the inside because of the choices of residents, who maybe are forgetful or take drugs or whatever. But outside, it's a rainy place. The northwest of BC is not likely to have fires, so I'm kind of safe here. But fires or smoke over there is not great. There's industries over there that have been bad in the past. There are good signs. For example, I see that there's a court case I want to find out more about. And it might be also when I read the job description, there's things I see that I like. For example, it seems to include a lot this bilingual school counselor job to work also with teachers. It does mention that a couple of times. And of course, with the community, right? With families. And it also admits, you might be frustrated on the job. It'll take time to see progress in who you work with. And also, you might be frustrated with the lack of resources in the community to refer to. Those are good signs that it's admitted to in the job description. But I kind of see also that the deadline was pushed a couple of times. In the French part, you see a bit more details about the qualifications than the English translation. That seems more like I qualify. Now, I did say in the cover letter that I sent as part of my email that I am willing to, take a master's degree part time that would maybe allow me to be part of an association of counseling or therapeutic kind of professionals. I still haven't looked into life skills coaches based on the Saskatchewan New Start model, like really life skills coaches. And again, it won't be easy to find just because that word is being misused. So again, I'd have to try to find out, is there a provincial, and if it's not for that territory, if I find one, let's say in Saskatchewan, uh, and there's a professional organization and counseling is part of the duties, and that I would join that professional association. Now, sometimes it's life skills coaches, but they might get to the point where they've been domesticated to only include people in that association that also have a master's in counseling or something like that. So yeah, but I mean, working at a school and doing a program that includes eventually a counseling designation, especially if it be national, would be a good idea for me because it makes me more employable, more insurable, and more able to, if it's not a good fit there, to then move on to somewhere else career-wise. Career-wise, I'm about to turn 55 years old. I have no kind of pension except what I have in this province, which is not enough to survive or to achieve goals uh, of ongoing self-actualization that require sometimes income, such as courses. And but going somewhere else means I'd lose that pension. So I have no CPP contributions have been almost nothing for me. And then also my RDSP was stolen, will probably never be returned. As much as I'll prove how there was corruption, that government doesn't give you money back with interest when you screw up. They take it from you when you screw up, but when they screw up is they don't compensate you, even if they didn't do a legal thing where you kind of get compensated for how it's changed your life over the last decade. Is I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, they might include interest on themselves as if you owed money to them, right? The tax services, let's say, of a province or a country. But I don't expect that a pension would ever come to me. But the thing is, with this point, is that I see myself as being so rejuvenated and re-energized in a career and new community, but a career that would make me happy, and that I would see the difference in people, even if it's just rare and it's frustrating sometimes how slow the progress is, and how much effort I put in. It still would be rewarding. And it'd be rewarding too when sometimes 10 years down the line somebody says, you had this positive impact on my life, because, even if your pension is small at that point, that kind of comment is worth, so much more than a pension. Anyways, I'm going to call her just to say, because I keep trying to apply, and I just want to find out if I have to focus on this today or focus on other things. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to call this lady and confirm it's still recording here. Yep. Like sometimes, I want to believe Gaia would reward somebody who made the sacrifices I made, let's say, for the biosphere, that were a lot against my species, putting my species back in its place, and, putting self-awareness down their throat when they don't want it. It doesn't create, benefits in life. So sometimes I would think, I wish Gaia was something that I could communicate with, and I could say, the biosphere, global brain, collective unconscious, overmind. There's a lot of ways to say maybe there's an emergent phenomenon, but I don't think so, because, and if so, it might have just started emerging and it died, because it would have to be linked to more complex brains like ours, and we are devolving as a species. So I don't see the possibility of getting rewards from, the creator that I belong to, because, I can't imagine I've received a message when I haven't, that good things are coming, like a job that would be rewarding, or a girlfriend that would just make me fall in love again harder than I've ever been before. And, so I don't have those unrealistic expectations. I don't live for that. So what do I live for? Well, I think I just live to be of service while my body is not totally trying to shut down. My brain is very resilient, and my body would be even more so if my brain was able to, receive the kind of challenges that are rewarding, such as a job like this. And I'm not saying a lot of people can't do this job. It's just at the level I would put in, even if it takes time, but the human standards I want to put in, and the quality that I want to demonstrate, not just so I look good, but for the benefit of a community, it would really be good for my brain and my body. And anyways, let's call this lady here and see if I'll leave her my number, because I don't think I left my number except for what's on the resume, so that they could call me. And last I checked this morning, it didn't say that, I said I'd like the confirmation that you've received my application. I sent that in an email yesterday, preparing for the weekend, because the deadline was now pushed to June 1st, but then I see on the attachment that it's kind of updated to June 2nd, which is the Monday. So anyways, I'm going to try this number right now, and hopefully that turns out well, and I'm super happy when I walk to badminton or pickleball.
Bonjour, Yvonne Karine.
Bonjour, Yvonne, c'est Martin ici, ça va bien?
Ah oui, Martin
Parisot.
Parizeau, OK. Ça va bien.
Oui, mon nom, vous dit-tu quelque chose ou?
Oui, c'est que vous avez postulé pour un poste de conseiller scolaire, pardon,
Oui, puis
au
c'est
FED.
c'est le seul but de mon appel aujourd'hui, là. Je voulais juste être certain si c'est ça que vous me confirmez que ma candidature a été reçue de la façon que je l'ai envoyée parce que j'ai pas réussi encore à essayer aujourd'hui à l'envoyer par le site, là.
Moi, je l'ai eu par le biais de tes courriels.
OK.
Alors, ça, c'est suffisant dans le sens où, parce que je l'ai reçu avant la date de fermeture, je peux l'envoyer au ministère de l'Éducation.
OK.
Pas au ministère de l'Éducation, au ministère des Ressources humaines. Et c'est eux qui génèrent les listes. Alors, c'est pour ça qu'on demande que tout le monde soumettent leurs applications par le biais de ce site-là. Autrement, moi, je dois reprendre le filet et puis leur retourner toutes les candidatures. Ça fait que je sais que c'est pas une plateforme facile à utiliser, mais plusieurs réussissent. C'est pour ça que je t'avais demandé de réduire le montant de documents que tu envoyais.
Ah,
Et juste rester avec l'essentiel.
Ah, c'est-tu vous qui m'envoyez ce message-là parce qu'il n'y avait pas de nom associé à ce courriel-là?
Ben oui, c'est moi qui reçois toutes ces demandes-là, alors c'est moi qui réponds.
Ah, OK. Mais là, vous avez eu tous les attachements là, qui
Oui,
étaient
mais
inclus.
ils ne
Là.
sont pas tous nécessaires, ils ne
OK.
sont pas tous liés aux besoins de ce poste-là, disons, aux critères du poste. Alors, comme c'est pour ça que j'avais dit chauffeur d'une vanne, OK, mais ça n'a pas rapport nécessairement au poste. Alors, pas besoin de l'inclure. Alors, c'est vraiment de rester avec le poste et qu'est-ce qui est demandé, exigé, c'est quoi les critères du poste et rester avec ces documents-là. Puis, à cause du poids de ce que tu essayais d'envoyer, je m'imagine que c'est pour ça que ça n'a pas marché sur l'autre site.
Ben non, parce que j'ai pas réussi à même rentrer dans mon profil. Ça veut dire que j'ai jamais eu la chance de me rendre au point où je choisissais des attachements. Puis ça, j'ai filmé
Ça,
des
c'est
vidéos de
bizarre.
ça, puis ouais, ça fait des années aussi que j'ai des problèmes avec plusieurs sites là, comme ça dans le nord du Canada, que ce soit ce territoire-là ou Yukon. Puis moi, tu sais, je rapporte cette information-là, mais souvent, des fois, c'est ça que j'essayais de demander à Christian, c'est les gens qui ont réussi, là, sont-ils déjà dans votre réseau? Parce que des gens de loin, là,
Non.
puis des fois...
Non, ils ne sont pas dans notre réseau parce qu'on reçoit des candidatures de partout au monde.
OK. Moi, j'ai essayé plusieurs choses, puis ça n'a pas fonctionné, là, mais je suis content que vous me confirmez que ça a été reçu, puis je ne sais pas si vous avez envoyé tous les attachements ou vous en avez ôté, mais je laisse ça à votre discrétion, là.
Oui, ben écoute, ça c'est une de mes jobs aujourd'hui, là. C'est de tout assembler ce qu'on a reçu et de l'envoyer au ministère. Après ça, on fait la liste des gens qu'on veut passer en entrevue. Et puis on passe aux entrevues.
OK. Puis vous le savez là, qu'avec mes attachements, ça s'est rendu au ministère là, que vous avez envoyé.
Ben, c'est rendu ici. Là, c'est moi qui dois faire le tri et les envoyer au ministère.
Ah, OK. Est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose que je peux faire pour vous qui serait plus facile? Comme par exemple, voulez-vous je vous renvoie quelque chose avec moins d'attachement directement à votre courriel? Ou?
Ben non, parce que moi, je vais décider lesquels sont pertinents, puis je vais juste envoyer ça. Je vais pas envoyer la gamme.
OK. OK, ben je vous remercie beaucoup pour confirmer ça parce que je me demandais encore si je réessaye d'autres choses aujourd'hui, mais là au moins je sais que ça s'est rendu au moins à vous.
Oui, c'est ça. C'est beau.
OK, merci beaucoup. Bonne fin
Et
de
puis
semaine.
on sera en communication plus tard.
Merci beaucoup. Bonne fin de semaine.
Merci à vous aussi.
Bye bye.
Au revoir.
Well, the last thing she said is a good sign. But it could just be we'll let you know later. If you were selected or not. And I can't see anything about whether there's internal candidates. Being chosen first. It didn't say anything about that. That's one thing I like. It didn't say anything about unions, this post. But it is going to probably the entire territories. And territory is not like a province. It's kind of, the governing is very different. So it's kind of a little bit more associated to the federal government. Anyways, there's a video of her talking that I saw on the website, and I haven't seen all the videos on the website of the French School District, where I kind of enjoy what she says. So I think she would appreciate my definition of learning specialist, for example. But there'd be a lot of English things for her to read in the attachments. Now, if she's sending the attachments to people that are more English speaking, then of course that'd be more beneficial. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, there's an excitement I get about a job sometimes, and but when I find out later, whether there were more candidates, which she is suggesting there are, and she has to do that today, or not. Actually, she might not have read everybody's stuff, so she might be doing that today or even on the weekend if she runs out of time today, because she's in a very busy role, and she might find there's only 3 maybe to send it to, and maybe she has to have at least 3, otherwise they'd have to repost it. So it's possible I'm one of them. But my heart is very fragile from a lot of old and fresh scars of jobs I've been excited at applying to or being given.